How do you get customers in such a low market? How do you get customers as a trucking company or as an owner operator that's trying to just make it to the stage where you can go out and hire more drivers? So you can build your own little mini trucking company or family run business that you can pass down to your kids. In this type of environment where we're going through right now, which is low demand, high supply, lots of available trucks, it's very difficult to find a customer and actually go through the process. But there are some things that you can take as a small trucking company or a one truck and trailer operator, owner operator, to help you build your business the right way. I'll give you some examples of my own in this video as to how I went and built a small trucking company into a larger one and what you can do in your own process. And when I started, I also went through a very difficult time because of the fact that at that time, we just got out of the crash, the 2008 crash, and that was very difficult type of environment to try to thrive in. So now in 2024, a lot of these carriers and a lot of these trucking companies and owner operators that are smaller, very small, one truck up to, let's say, 5-6 trucks, they're trying to just find shippers that are willing to give them a chance. Okay, so one thing that I did when it was, again, low demand, high supply, was to go to a shipper. Okay, you walk into the shipper and you find a transportation manager, a shipping manager, a logistics coordinator, someone that handles the freight and the paperwork on a daily basis. Okay, and you have a sit down with them, but you actively listen. So you actively ask them what's going on with their supply chain. Are they having struggles? Are they having certain areas not covered? Do they have a certain niche or type of freight that they love to move or need to move, but they're struggling to find quality carriers? And now I mentioned quality because you have to stick to quality. If you're not going to be there providing the utmost best customer service for these companies, they will look the other way. So you have to be there showing them that you actually care about their freight more than they do, actually. That's how serious of a matter that is when it comes to customer service. So I would highly recommend that you sit down with someone like a transportation manager, logistics coordinator, someone that's in and out of the office and the shipping department every single day. Okay? Sit down with them, talk about the different lanes that they may be struggling on, talk about the different types of freight they're moving. It could be the inbound stuff or the outbound stuff that they're struggling with, or a certain specific place where they send their freight and they just can't seem to find the right carrier to fit it, to service them where they need it. And for shippers, they're looking for a balance as well, okay? Other than, let's say, paper shippers or paper products, most shippers will try to find a fine balance between price and service. So it's not that shippers don't pay, it's that you have to find where you and your company can fit into their supply chain and feed them the kind of capacity that they need to move their supply chain forward. I would highly recommend doing this and have an honest, open opinion. Let them know honestly what you can handle. Don't tell them things like, yeah, we have so many trucks and we can handle every kind of freight that you have and we can go everywhere. You're over-promising and under-delivering in that circumstance. So cool it down a little bit, slow it down a little bit. Let them know honestly how many trucks you have and what you're trying to achieve as well. But the goal in all of this is to actively listen. You have to actively listen to figure out what they're looking for. They will tell you their problem. You don't have to guess. You don't have to search for it on the internet per se. You're not going to find those answers. You're going to find them directly from the belly of the beast. You're going to find it directly from the shipper themselves, okay? They will tell you what they're struggling with. And you would be surprised at how open they get if you have an established trust with that individual. And that may take 2 walk-ins, 4 walk-ins, 6 walk-ins, okay? It may take 1 phone call, 2 emails, and 3 walk-ins as an example. Okay, just to keep it uniform. So you have to give yourself the time of day to close that account. If we want to use sales terms, you have to give yourself the kind of look at it as if it's a marathon, not a sprint, to the finish line, okay? And these are bigger shippers that I'm talking about that I went into. I sat down, I said, listen, we're not going to fool anybody. We only have a few trucks. We are just trying to build locally right now and see where it takes us. If you have freight that's going to Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Indiana, Illinois, these are places we can service you. If you have freight going to Toronto, if you have freight going to Montreal, Quebec, if you have freight going to Ottawa, these are places we can service you. If you're looking for 24/7 service, expedited service, this is what we can do. What we don't do is LTL. We don't have reefers in our fleet at the moment. Okay, be honest with them. Have an honest discussion with them. Honesty is always the best policy. Okay, it's going to lead you to more opportunities. Think about it. You get a chance to run one lane for them. That one lane is going to turn into 3 more opportunities, maybe even by the end of that fiscal year. And those 3 may lead to you getting more trucks and more owner operators under your authority to expand your business. And then that leads to more opportunities. And eventually, there is a potential for you to overcome and take over that supply chain respectfully and actually service that customer in full for their entire logistics supply chain needs that you can handle with the type of capacity that you have. But you have to give yourself that opportunity to do that. Okay, so that walk-in, that physical presence, that human, that camaraderie, that rapport that you build between you and that transportation manager, logistics coordinator, traffic manager, whoever is in the shipping office doing the documents, dealing with the freight on a daily basis, those are the type of people that if they can't give you an approval, they can at least direct you in the right direction to get that approval from them. Okay. One individual that I reached out to as well, I told them legitimately, and this was from another perspective. This is from our freight brokerage division. I told them, I don't have the assets to service you to send your freight to Nova Scotia or to send your freight out to Alberta or Saskatchewan. We don't service those provinces. We just don't. At the moment, we don't. Likewise, we don't service California. We don't go to California. We don't go to New York unless it's properly paying to get me back, because I know it's a vacuum state. We're going to come out of there pretty much empty. But what we can do is, if you have freight going to those states and a lot of freight or enough freight that you need coverage and you can't find it, I will do everything in my power to cover it with the brokerage division. And we only give you options if we have a truck available for that option, what you're looking for. And this way, you're showing them and you're telling them right off the bat, you're not going to take freight that you don't have coverage for, and you're not going to give freight back. You're not going to put yourself in a position that you're giving freight back. Likewise, as a trucking company, do the same thing. Let them know, we don't service these areas. We don't go out to Nanaimo, BC, because we don't take ferries or whatever your reason for not going out there is. It doesn't really matter about the reason. It's more of the fact that you're being honest of where you don't go and where you do go. But I'm telling you guys, if you listen, if you ask open-ended questions that elicit a response. So an open-ended question is when they're doing the talking. Okay, you ask, you sit back, relax, and you listen. You can nod, give a tone of voice that's matching their tone of voice. You're curious, you tell them, I'm genuinely interested in what you guys are doing with your supply chain. I want to see if there is a fit. I'm not here to waste your time. I'm seeing to see if we can collaborate together so we can get things done together as a team. Okay, taking this type of consultative approach will do wonders for your trucking company, and it will give you the opportunity to actually expand. Okay, so this is one of the things that you can do, this physical walk-in. Okay, this is a physical walk-in, or if you've gotten a chance to go through LinkedIn or a cold call or something like that, and then you take that to the physical walk-in where you're actually visiting them in person. But the local scenario, the local scene, where you are, where your trucks are at, is going to be your best bet to succeed in the beginning in terms of not actually depending on what a lot of brokers say and a lot of trucking companies say out there, to not just depend on load boards. If you're depending just on load boards, if your capacity to cover your capacity to put freight into your trucks and move it from point A to point B, if that only includes load boards, it's going to be really difficult to scale. Okay, so you have to give yourself kind of like they say, don't put your all your eggs in the same basket, right? Have some customers from the load boards. That's fine. Okay, have physical customers, ones that you know, face to face. Okay, you have to have that balance as well. Okay, and connect with people. Make yourself a LinkedIn account. There's a lot of great trucking companies out there that show you how they do business. Okay, now they don't go just on there and be like, pick me, we're the best, nobody's better than us. They don't do it that way. They tell you about their successes, their failures on LinkedIn. They show you what they did well and where they succeeded and what mistakes they made along the way, so you don't make those same mistakes again as well. And virtually, it's pretty much for free, this type of education that you get from these trucking companies that have been there and done that, where you're sitting right now, which is in the beginning of your journey in the trucking industry. But you have to give yourself this opportunity to do this. And this is a way you can find customers in 2024 in a rough market. Have these conversations early and often in the sales cycle, and this will lead to success earlier and more often in any sales cycle that you participate with any shipper out there. So please, guys, take this into actual consideration. Try it out. Try it out. It costs you nothing. Sure, okay, fill up your pickup truck or your sedan or whatever you're driving and go for a little drive around the city and or town, wherever you're at. See what kind of facilities are available for you to target. Okay, which facilities have docks or dock doors that you can go in and speak to shipping managers, transportation managers, traffic managers, logistics coordinators. Like I said, if by any means those aren't the right people, they can at least direct you to the right person. Okay, and don't think that you're going to succeed with the first walk-in. Okay, maybe the first facility you check out that first day doesn't work out. Maybe the next facility you check out is not good at all. And maybe the third one that you go to, the third door that you knock on, is the game changer for your life. And I always tell people that take our trucking dispatch course and also our advanced freight broker course, I always tell them the same thing, and that is you have to put yourself in the customer's shoes, okay? And you got to treat this also like a marathon and not a sprint. This is not a 100-meter race, okay? And you have to give yourself this opportunity to succeed in this matter. And this is how you allow motivation to creep into your daily routine as well. And have a little notepad with you to write down any kind of rejections or objections that you get from these companies. And so you can study them as well, almost like a case study. You study and see, why are they saying this? What can I do differently as a trucking company or a freight broker that can be really different and set myself apart from everyone else in an honest, commendable, and ethical way, in a moral way, okay? And if you do this, you're gonna find your customer. And I tell people, like I said, in the brokerage course and in the truck dispatch course, you are always one customer away from changing your life, from changing your business, from allowing you to scale where you thought and dreamt of when you first sat down to come up with your business plan to open up your trucking company. Okay, whether you're just now an owner operator getting started or have a few trucks looking to expand to 6 trucks, 9 trucks, and so on and so forth. Okay, and another piece of advice I can give you as well is get your name out there. Make yourself a nice website. Okay, get on TikTok and get on Instagram and get on LinkedIn and get on Facebook. Share with people your stories about your trucking company. I have gotten customers this way by just sharing a picture of freight that we're moving, whatever freight that may be. It could be boxed medical equipment. It could be boxed automotive parts. It doesn't have to be visually appealing freight right off the bat. Okay, or if you are moving something interesting, explaining the process to everybody that's watching and viewing and and has an impression or is impressionable in the data in terms of social media, right? One time we had a plastination that was moving. Okay, and now plastination, if you search for it on Google, plastination is people who have donated pieces or their entire self to science after their passing, and now they are out on display at science centers. We moved these people that have volunteered themselves after their passing to different exhibitions all around North America. And the process across the international borders is very interesting in that respect. But you get to see the world. You get to see things that you otherwise wouldn't have seen, but you have to give yourself that opportunity to be a go-getter. Sitting back and just looking at a load board isn't going to get you anywhere. And another thing about load boards, take those relationships offline as a trucking company. Okay? If you're interested in the lane, let's say Chicago to Atlanta, take a look at all the brokers that have the freight on that lane. Get set up with them and take those offline. And I don't mean offline completely. I mean, take them to your inbox, take them to your WhatsApp, your Viber, your Messenger, whatever you end up using, Telegram as an example, or Discord server. Whatever tech you use to get messages across messengers that you may use. And show them what your company's about. Show them a little brochure about what you guys offer and what niche you're focused on. It could be an equipment niche. It could be a modal niche. Okay, maybe you just do truckload, less than truckload, partial truckload, parcel shipping, even for the smaller units out there, cargo vans, sprinter vans, straight trucks. This advice is good for any unit size. It's not just for dry vans or just for flatbed step decks reefers. This is really for anybody that may be involved in the transportation of freight in North America. This is how North American shippers are. You have to get to them and build a rapport, build a credibility, and success will follow you. And always do not lapse on quality of service. Okay? If you find this video helpful, please give it a like, a share, and a comment below. And let me know below if you have any questions for me specifically about trucking and transportation. I'd be happy to answer as much as I possibly can. So thank you so much for watching, and respect. Subscribe to the channel. Goodbye.